So let's just real quick kind of take a look at their stuff. Obviously, they have they've been going through like their injury with Kawhi Leonard with his jaw or his I guess it's his jaw, right?
Yeah.
I think it's just a cut in his mouth, right? It said a laceration. Or did he get
Maybe to be honest, I only saw the I saw the hit and then I saw the mask. And then I saw him, and then I saw him say that they were going to trade.
Yeah, trade Ibaka.
Serge Ibaka.
I'll take him.
But yeah, so again, we'll be right back at it, going against one of the top teams in the conference, one of the ones that has like all of the expectations, right? So, what are go ahead, Jake.
Just some notable additions. We already talked about Serge. Serge can he's been playing that Trez role, but a little bit better because he can space the floor, and not to say that he is a way better player than Trez, but he just fits with this.
He's a better shooter. He's a way better shooter than Trez.
He fits better than what Trez did with this team. So he's a notable addition, as well as a player like Luke Kennard. I know I'm sure a lot of people don't really know too much about him because he was in Detroit. He didn't, he got a lot of just like minutes just doing his thing over there, and it wasn't really like anything spectacular. But now he's playing a guard role that's
meaningful minutes every night.
Yeah, meaningful minutes that's going to lead to a contending team, and he's not been playing bad. He's been playing good. He's a solid shooter.
And anytime that you are alongside the guys like Paul George and Kawhi, like your responsibilities doesn't have to be as high. So
exactly, and he plays solid enough defense to make him not a liability out there. So he's definitely a notable thing. I don't know how much time Nicholas Batum's getting out there, but he's another veteran on their team that they added, and that can go ways in terms of
yeah. Well,
what they do out there.
I was gonna say scroll down to the rest of their roster, but then also if you want to look at we can look at their minutes too and kind of see here in a second.
So obviously, if we can give a starting lineup out there, I would like to say probably Reggie, Paul, Kawhi, Marcus, and Zubac.
I think Pat starts.
Does Pat start? Then maybe it's Pat over Reggie. I don't know.
Okay. That seems about right. So then, if they have Zubac out there, are we starting? Or obviously with LA, if LA is going to be out still, we'll probably have Yak out there.
Mm-hmm.
So then, this is going to be pretty tough because it's not like LA's. It's not like LA Lakers. It's not the Lakers big men like having Morris and Kuzma and who else do they have out there? Those type of bigs. Instead, it's like having Kawhi Leonard and Paul George out there at the same time.
Yeah, I know.
That's going to be kind of scary, honestly.
Yeah, that's gonna be a even different kind of test for I'm anxious to see because like Keldon Johnson is a strong guy, but Kawhi Leonard is a smart enough guy. Like Kawhi Leonard will just put you on his back and just break you down for 48 minutes. It's like can you be strong in the fourth quarter after I've already just like put you through the ringer for 3 quarters straight? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see like that. Like Paul George is a great world-class player. I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but also like we've seen the path to beating Paul George through many different avenues.
Yeah.
So
hopefully we play pandemic P instead of playoff.
Instead of preseason P.
Yeah, preseason P. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. So we've seen the origins of Kawhi Leonard, so we know what he brings to the table. I don't know if we have to talk so much about it.
A guy who can do it all.
Exactly.
He's not the greatest playmaker, but he can still play make when he really needs to. So it's not bad either.
Yeah, and we saw it in a game like the Lakers where it's like when it came, we held tight with them all game, but then when it came down to making plays, like there was like that 3-minute stretch where AD just goes off in the one-on-one, like 3 back-to-back-to-back. Hits a couple jump shots, hits like you know what I mean? Like, so that can easily happen in a 2-minute span. Kawhi Leonard goes on an 8-0 run, and now we're out of the game. You know what I mean? So, I think we recognize that, and stopping that is like priority number one, obviously. But like, when we talk about beating a team like this, it's like, how are we gonna, if we talk about us getting broken down over the course of 3 quarters, it's like, how are we gonna try to break them down over the course of the game to try to pull out a win at the end? You know what I mean? So I did ask this question, which is like, is depth the answer? Is our bench versus their bench going to be something that we have the advantage of? So that's something that we definitely could take a look at. But go ahead, Jake. What were you going to say?
In my opinion, like the best way that we're going to be able to beat this Clippers team is Paul George. If Paul George gets his due, then it's going to be way harder for us to win. But if
we have to make him work,
and that's what I'm saying.
Make him work. Both of them, Kawhi and Paul George.
Which, yeah, you're right. We have to make both of them work. But I feel like Kawhi is going to be able to get his points. It's crazy. I watch us playing Kawhi over these last couple of years, and like it looks like that man scores 2 points in like the first 2 quarters, and then at the end of the game, I'm looking at it and he's got his 28, 29, and I'm like, what? Where did he get those extra 20, 26 points? Mm-hmm. And it just happens. It just happens. He just gets his bucket.
Quiet. That's how he rolls. He's a quiet superstar.
And so then for me, like, I think the way that we're gonna have to beat this team is to keep Paul George out of it. Keep him as much as we can out of this game. We do not let Paul George go off for 30. If he does, then I don't see us having a great game.
I watched that the Clippers. I think it was game 1, right? The Clippers
versus the Lakers,
right? And honestly, Kyle Kuzma. I can't remember if it was the second or third quarter, but Kyle Kuzma checked into the game. They put him on Paul George, and Paul George went like on an 11-0 run by himself. Like he attacked Kuzma, and Kuzma couldn't do nothing. And exactly. I'm hoping that he doesn't. I don't know who will throw out there that he would just torch like that. I'm hoping that doesn't happen, like you're saying, Jake. Because as soon as they put Kuzma in front of him, they just cleared. They cleared, and Paul George was going at that guy.
So I love PG. I know these last couple of years have not been pretty for him because he likes to talk. But I'll still be a good PG fan as much as I can be, at least, right?
You got him. You got the PGs.
I do got the PGs. I got some PGs in my closet right now. But I feel like our biggest threat is going to be Paul George in this game, and then like Chris was saying in his question of the depth, I think this team is solid. It has a solid depth. Last year, including me, like everybody was saying that this Clippers team was gonna win because of the depth. Like this deep roster could win a championship, but we don't know if it's gonna fit right again.
Yeah. It looks a little different than last year.
It does look a little bit different. It looks like it fits better than last year's does, for sure.
Because Trez, we just played Trez, and he played a hell of a lot better than we saw him play in the playoffs with the Clippers.
Yeah, and I think players coming off the bench like Reggie Jackson. I know a lot of people aren't too high on him, and I think that he kind of did put up a little bit of empty stats in Detroit, but I still think that he's a solid little backup. It's not like he's a garbage time point guard, right? But he can do a little bit of everything. Doesn't play.
And do these guys?
At one thing,
when Jake stepped off of the screen for a little bit, Josh had mentioned the Lakers wanting to. They start AD and LeBron, and then after that they make sure that one of them is on the floor at all times. Did the Clippers kind of do that with Paul George and Kawhi?
I think so.
Yeah, I think they do that.
And then probably their opening and their closing lineup features both.
Mm-hmm.
So then Reggie Jackson just kind of has to be a guy who can start some offense, swing, find people on open spots, and then hit a jump shot if Kawhi or Paul is finding him. You know what I mean? So
yeah, for sure. And then obviously they have a tenacious defensive guard in Patrick Beverley. He goes crazy on defense. He does whatever he can.
Was it him and DJ kind of got into some squabbles when we played him last year, or no? I could have sworn it was. I could have sworn it was Beverly and somebody.
I was gonna mention that. I was hoping that DJ could keep his temper in check.
Oh.
As far as Pat, because you know how Pat gets and how he frustrates players, and And DJ, I feel like DJ got that little spark. We've seen it in the James Harden,
Yeah.
A couple of years back. So
I think if I remember correctly, maybe it was just like a real quick glance of like maybe DJ having the ball and like maybe the whistle gets blown and Pat's like still trying to swipe at it or something like that, and DJ kind of just like laughing it off or something. I think that might be the exchange that's like playing in my head. But I just remember there being some little baby thing about that kind of happened last year. So like you said, it's a given with Beverly that like that's a part of his game,
he's
right?
gonna
So
try to eat at you.
yeah, so it's like that is something to deal with. Batum's been having I would say a serviceable year, right, so far since coming to the Clippers. Like again, it's like everybody talks about his horrific contract and stuff like that. But I mean, he was a great role player when he was with Portland. And so I could definitely see him fitting into that role over here too. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Not needing to be anything extra, but being he can definitely shoot. He can definitely he's a smart guy. So but I mean do you think that our roster can in terms of our second unit kind of match up well with with Reggie and with Kana, or who else is kind of going to be running with their second unit? Do you think? I mean, a lot of these younger guys.
Yeah, Patrick Patterson.
Obviously, Lou Williams is going to be an engine for them on their bench.
Yeah, for sure.
So I mean, I think if we can get if they're going to have Williams, we are going to need Patty to get some shots off on the second unit.
We're going to have to attack Lou on that second unit for sure.
Who knows? Maybe Rudy. One thing I love about Rudy Gay, and Sean Elliott says this a lot, is that Rudy like knows when he can sniff out those mismatches and he can sniff out those opportunities. And so maybe against some of these younger guys, he has a little bit of those moments of like, oh, I know exactly kind of what position to put you in. You know what I mean? And I think Rudy's good for that. So hopefully this is on the second unit, kind of speaking. Hopefully this is a good game for Rudy to kind of have some efficient points versus the 15 points on 16 shots or whatever it was.
For sure.